Hello guys, welcome back to this new video. I know this is the most awaited Altroz video on my channel and I'm going to make sure you're going to get a total worth of it. This video is all about our 1 year ownership of our TATA ALTROZ iTURBO Dark Edition. In this video, I am going to talk about our experience with our car right from the day of booking till today. Before we begin, let me tell you something. There is an announcement to follow. So make sure you're sticking around till end to get to know what that is. And if you're already enjoying content on my channel, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you have hit that bell icon. Now let's begin with the video. So let's begin with the booking process. We booked our car on 10th of October 2021 with some mandatory paperwork and document submission. Mr. Jitendra Sonade from the dealership side supported us really well. And the dealership that we went to is Panchajanya Motors in PCMC area. Mr. Sonane was kind and helpful and he really made our process look very easy. And talking about booking, we booked our car blindly. Yes, we booked it blindly without even taking a test drive of the car. We just walked into the dealership, we had a look at the display car and we made up our mind to book the car. Now this might sound stupid, like how can one book a car without even taking a test drive of it? Now there's a backstory to it. We already have a Tata Nexon XE Plus petrol model as our first family car, and when we went to the dealership to take the delivery of that car, the first Altroz display model was in the dealerships, and when I saw it, I immediately fell in love with it. Since then I was following up on the updates on Tata Altroz for a very long time. And one fine day, there was a news that came out that Tata Motors is going to launch Tata Altroz with a turbo engine and with a DCT gearbox. Now that got me really excited that finally something like hot hatch is going to enter an Indian market. And that thing really got me excited. And finally, they launched iTurbo model of Tata Altroz just before the festive season of 2021. I was disappointed that there was no DCT gearbox with it, but by that time I had already ran out of patience. Now it came with the same engine that was there in our Tata Nexon XE Plus model, and by that time I had already driven our Nexon for roughly around 20,000 kilometers. So I was well aware how good the engine performs, and I had the same confidence with Tata Altroz. It was just a matter of what as a package Tata has to offer us in terms of Altroz. The car was 5-star rated, it had good features, we just had a look at them and that's it. We were satisfied with our first visit to the dealership itself and we booked the car then and there. So while booking, Mr. Sonane told us that the waiting period for Tata Altroz is around 1.5 to 2 months, but thanks to the exclusivity of our booking package, we got our car delivered within 25 days on the day of Diwali of 2021. So the last lot that came out of the Tata Motors factory just before Diwali had only one car, that was a dark edition Tata Altroz XE Plus model that came with a turbocharged petrol engine, and we were lucky enough that that car got allocated to us. And if you want to know how the delivery went, the link for the video is in the description below. Make sure you go and watch it if you haven't watched it yet. Now the question arises, why Tata Altroz and why not any other car in the same segment? Or why not any other car from other segments? As I've already mentioned, we already had a Tata Nexon, which is a compact SUV, as our first family car, and now we were looking for something in a hatchback category. So Altroz by default was our first choice, and we did not even bother looking for the competition in the same segment for very strong reasons. Let's start with Maruti Suzuki Baleno. Now I personally do not prefer Maruti Suzuki as a brand because of safety reasons. You yourself can be a very good driver, a very safe driver, but you cannot trust other people on the road. And then what is the use of all those road trips if you cannot guarantee that you will keep your family safe while doing those trips? To add on to the safety, I also feel that the materials used in Tata Altroz feel way more premium and superior than Maruti Suzuki Baleno. So Baleno was out of the picture straight away. The next car in this segment is Hyundai i20. Now this car comes with a far better fits and finishes than Tata Altroz, and it offers loads of features to the customers. Then why not go for this car? Well, to do so, I would have shelled additional 1.5 lakhs in buying that car. Now let me tell you something, even Hyundai i20 is not a 5-star rated safety car. And if at all I had additional 1.5 lakh rupees, I would have rather preferred buying a Tata Nexon car, which is of a higher segment and which is way lot safer than what Hyundai i20 is. Instead, we stuck to Altroz because it offered a good package of safety, features, quality and performance. I will talk about all of this in this video. Instead, we stuck to Altroz because it offered a complete package of safety, performance, quality and features, and I will talk about all of these in this video. Moving on, how was the first month with our new car? So initial few days we kept on driving our car in and around TCMC area and the Pune city, meeting families and friends because it was Diwali season. And while driving around, we also got to know our car a bit more every day. And when we were meeting our families and friends, they also loved the car very much. Within a week or so, we did our first highway trip, that was to Kolhapur, to attend our friend's wedding. And if you want to know how that was, the link for the video is in the description below. You can say it was the first highway test of our car, and how it performed, you can watch it in the video itself. The other trip that we did apart from Kolhapur was a one-day trip to Panchgani, and we enjoyed that thoroughly. The car did not disappoint at all. And the rest of the days we spent by driving our car in the city itself. So the first impression of driving our new car, starting with clutch, because I've never seen a car having such a short clutch travel. The clutch travel was so short that I almost got a sports car like feeling. The travel was short, the gear shifts were very chunky, and I really enjoyed gear shifting because of that overall feeling. And the best part that I felt was the steering. I've always talked about how good the steering of Tata Altroz is. The weight on the steering really feels right, and you just want corners to come one after the other, and cornering becomes so much fun in this car. And while we were driving around the city, we have really started liking this dark theme of the car, and we really enjoyed how good of an experience it was giving to us. But we'll talk about dark theme later in this video. And as we were doing this, the time really flied, and now it was time for the first mandatory checkup of the car. Well, the first checkup, or say the first free servicing of the car, was really short and sweet, because from my side I did not have any major points for the service center guys to fix. The car was running okay, there were no problem that I noticed in the car, so it was going to be a routine checkup of the car. I booked for an appointment. The guy came to pick up the car at my location. He made a job card and he took the car to the service station. By afternoon itself, I got a call that the car is ready and you can come to pick it up. In the evening, I went to the service station to pick the car. The service advisor was kind enough. He requested me to take the car for a test drive before taking car back to the home. So we went for a test drive. He accompanied me for that. And while I was driving it, I noticed that one thing that has drastically changed is the clutch travel. And now it was way more longer than the travel of the brake itself. So I had to press clutch way too much, and I did not like that at all. I reported this to the service advisor that you have changed the clutch setting without even informing me. He requested me to take the car back to the shop so that he can make adjustment to the clutch. The setting was changed, but it was not as short as when it was at the time of delivery. I told the mechanic about this, and to this he replied me that if we make the travel of the clutch that short, it might hamper the life of the clutch. It did not sound that convincing to me, but the new setting that he did, I was quite happy with it. Now the other things that were missing were the mud flaps. Now the dealership promised me that they'll offer me floor mats and mud flaps as free during the delivery of the car. Unfortunately, the mud flaps were out of stock, so I was not able to get them, but the dealership told me that you can get them as soon as they come back in stock. I asked them if we can get those installed during first servicing, and they were kind enough to say yes. But when I told the same thing to the service guys, they told me that the deal was between the dealership and you, and only dealership can help you with the installation of mud flaps. Immediately I called the dealership guys and told them about this scenario. They understood that I am not totally satisfied with this whole situation. So what they did is they requested me to take the car back to the home. They understood my dissatisfaction, and what they told me is they'll send a couple of guys at my place itself with mud flaps, and they'll install those at my place itself. After a couple of days, I got a call from dealership that they're sending a couple of guys. They came to my society and we installed the mud flaps in my parking itself. Now this whole scenario got me thinking about all those comments and posts about Tata Motors after sales services and customer relations. Now I as a customer, I was getting everything that I wanted from the dealership or the service center. So if the after sales services and customer relations may not be at the top level, but certainly I can say that they are heading in the right direction by what I experienced with them in the first month itself. And all of this is really a good sign for people like us. I will call this post first servicing phase as unleash phase because we were raking up kilometers with our Tata Altros. The engine, the gearbox and all the systems of the car were just getting smoother and smoother and smoother and making our drive more enjoyable. The fun of driving and enjoying the comfort of the car really kept on increasing day by day, and we were almost done exploring most of the features of the car, and we were really started using them in our daily drives. So let's talk about the features of Tata Altros in this segment of the video. Now safety is often ignored over other features that you get in any car, but let me tell you something. What is the use of all those fancy gizmos if you're not going to stay alive to use them? So 5-star safety rating is top of my list. Now pair this safety rating with ABS, ESP and airbags and you get a whole package of safety. Now ABS and ESP are always working in background while you're driving and stopping your car. Now touch wood, we did not get an experience of how the airbags work, but I also hope that neither of us should ever experience that happening. On the exterior front, the overall design language of Tata Altros is best in class in my opinion. I am a big fan of its sharp lines and its aggressive stance. The projector headlamps up front do a decent job at night. I am not really a fan of high beam. I usually drive on low beams where the light from the projectors is sufficient for me to help me driving during night times. The fog lamps are also a good addition to the package, both on the front and the rear. The front fog lamps also turn on as a part of turn assist. This means if your headlamps are on and when you turn the steering towards right, the right fog lamp will turn on, and when you turn the steering towards left, the left fog lamp will turn on. On the roads, you may not find a difference while driving, but try entering a basement parking or parkings of the shopping malls and you will see how handy this feature becomes driving in those conditions. I really love this feature. I have not used the auto headlamps much. I've tried using them only a couple of times on the highways when I saw tunnel approaching towards me, and they did a fine job. And let's not forget those 4 doors that open all 90 degrees. Now the doors on this car are really big, and when they open complete 90 degrees, your entry and exit from the car becomes really easy. Be a person of any size, entering and exiting from the car is really easy. Let's jump onto the interior now. Initially we'll discuss all the XZ Plus features and we'll jump onto the dark theme later on. So when you say features, the first thing that comes to your mind is the display or the infotainment system. I've read a lot of complaints about that 7-inch infotainment system from Tata Motors. It is full of bugs, it is slow, it is small, it is laggy, etc. etc. Whether it is small and slow, I cannot really comment on it because I do not use the infotainment system directly. I find it as a distraction. Remember, no mobile phones while driving? Now this falls in the same category for me. Usually my wife operates the infotainment system from passenger seat and she has never complained about it. And when we use maps for navigation on the infotainment system, the updates are well in time so that we have not missed a turn because of its slowness. So personally, I do not have any complaints about it. Size wise also I am happy with it because bigger the screen, bigger the distraction will be while driving. We are talking about screens here and we have not even got over using phones while driving the cars. While we are talking about the infotainment system, how can you miss out on talking about the 8 speaker system from Harman Kardon? I loved it in Nexon and I'm loving it in Tata Altros. The music coming out of those speakers help you to just keep going on the highways. Now the sound quality is really good even at the default equalizer settings, and if you are a music freak, you have some presets and you can have your own equalizer presets and adjust your music system accordingly. And the rear passengers also do not miss out on having fun because every door gets one speaker and one tweeter. So it is a complete surround sound system for your car. So when we really feel like having fun on the road with friends, what we do is we close all the windows and we put this song Sakya 2.0 from the film Bell Bottom and we increase the sound by a bit. That is our go-to song when we want to have fun. What is your go-to song? Drop it in the comment section and let me know what that is. Now that we have mentioned closing up all the windows, let me tell you something. The seals used on the windows and the doors are of such a good quality that once everything is closed, you can hardly hear any noise coming from outside into the cabin of the car. The only sound that you can hear inside the cabin is that small hum from the engine. Some might not call it a hum, but for me it is quite pleasing, and the horns of other vehicles. So Tata Motors has really done a good job on all the seals of the doors and windows for sure. Now cruise control is another feature that I usually use a lot of times while driving on the roads. Now this really helps you to increase your mileage of the car if used properly, and not to forget how much comfort that it offers when you're just cruising on highways for kilometers and kilometers. Now I was going to make a video on cruise control, how to use it and the best practices about using cruise control, but unfortunately I was not able to do that in this 1 year, but more on that later to follow in the announcement. Features like automatic cooling and express cooling really come in handy when you're driving in the hotter regions of India like the Konkan Strip or cities like Mumbai. And if you are owner of a dark edition car, then these are must-have features on your car. The rear seats also get sufficient amount of cooling because there are a couple of ducts that are directed via the center console to the rear seats. And those ducts also get 2-speed fan adjustment. Auto start-stop feature of the engine. Now if you are cribbing about mileage, let me tell you something. This is a really handy feature. The number of traffic signals are really increasing in every city in my opinion, and this feature really comes in handy at the traffic signals. It is quite easy to use. When you stop at the traffic signal, you just put your car in neutral and release the clutch. The engine will kill itself automatically. Now you just have to sit with the handbrake pulled on and wait for the signal to go green. When it is about to go green, release the handbrake, press the clutch and engine will start automatically. Roughly the traffic signals are between 30 to 60 signals of waiting time, and just imagine how much of fuel you can really save if you add up those seconds for 1 day of your trip to office or any other place. And once you have that number, just multiply the number of times you travel to office in a month and see how much fuel can be saved by doing that. Now let's talk about all those features that you get because of having a dark edition car. The all black treatment done to the interior might sound too dark for some of your likings, but trust me, it really feels spacious when you are inside the car. You might feel it will be too monochromatic inside, but the use of different materials, textures and finishes and that cyan color ambient light to offset the whole dark theme just give you a pleasant feeling in the cabin inside. The piano black finish of the complete dashboard and the cloth armrests on the door card give you a much more premium feel. Now what about the use of leather? Trust me, the tri-arrow pattern all black leather seats feel really comfortable and super soft. The shape of the seats is also good, be it the front seats or the back seats. The back is supported quite nicely and you can sit in a good posture over your journey. Now if you are thinking about traveling for long hours or over bad roads, I think you should stop worrying now because these seats are really good. The steering wheel is also covered in the similar sort of black leather. It adds up to the luxury quotient of the cabin and it really feels great. The all black treatment to the exterior as well is done really well. Now this includes the paint job, the alloy wheels and those small blacked out chrome bits that they have used on this car. I personally feel that Altroz is the best dark edition car that Tata Motors has to offer among the whole lot. So coming back, whether it is worth spending 30,000 extra to get the dark theme, I hope you got your answer right there.